All right, first and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahawah by Shem YAHAWAH. That's to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God and name His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. May the Heavenly Father, love and mercy truly endure forever for Israel and Israel only, as it said in the Holy Scriptures. All right, you got your brother Yaramya. I come back at you to do another sit down, another feed the flock. I'm gonna touch a topic. Kind of just woke up in my spirit to just do a topic on what was one of the questions that a brother came up and asked me when I was teaching yesterday at camp. Um, he went into Galatians 3 and 18. I mean, Salakia 3 and 28, right? Neither Jew nor Greek. So let's get it. Yeah, let's just get it. I was kind of going over this a little bit, and it is, I really don't want to make this really that long, especially going over that Galatian, really the whole third chapter, because then Christians go there to, especially this particular verse that I'm about to address, but they also go to this chapter too to show that that we don't have to keep the law, right? And he was a Jehovah Witness. So I'll touch Jehovah Witness. I'll touch that in another video. Most High God will. So today I'm just going to focus on Galatians 3 and 28. Right, this is the book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Jesus Christ, right? So, in analyzing this, I think the best way to kind of go about this is to go up and start reading some of the verses higher up, which is actually funny because this is what Christians, really so-called Christians, because to be a true Christian, you would be a follower of Hamashiach, which he kept the laws. So you would follow his footsteps and keep the laws to the best of your ability, which Christians don't try to do. But I see the best way to tackle this subject is to read up. And that's what Christians say about us, what we don't do. Like, we don't read in context. You're eisegesis. Slocky, if I said that word wrong. You're just isolating that verse. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start up, and I'm gonna start not read all the way down, because I think that goes into the law within the 20, some of the 20 verses. But I'm just start right. I'm gonna start right. I'm gonna start right here. Yeah. All right, come. So this is the book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 14. That the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through, who the world calls Jesus, right? True name, Yahawashi, right? Yahawashi HaMashiach, that we might receive the promise of, that we might see the promise of the Spirit through faith, right? So the blessing comes through Abraham. You know what I mean? That the Gentiles might receive their promise. Let me just read this next verse. Verse 15. Brethren, I speak after the matter of men, though it be but a man's covenant. What man's covenant? The covenant that the Most High God made with Abraham. Yet, if it be confirmed, no man can disannoy or addeth thereto, right? So you can't subtract, right, or add to this covenant, right? Matter of fact, let me just get the covenant. The covenant that's in Genesis. Let's just get it. Genesis 17. Just the book of Genesis, chapter 17. read them couple verses. This is the book of Genesis chapter 17 and verse 18. And Abraham said unto God, "Oh, that Ishmael may live before thee." Why? Because he had Ishmael. That was the first child he had. He had with the slave woman, right? Hagar, right? His slave, an Egyptian woman. Verse 19. And God said, "Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him." So why God not talking about, all these other nations being drafted in right here? Why, like, the covenant was made with Abraham. So why didn't he let Abraham know, was saying this later on? He let him know that it's not going to be with Isaac, even though he's the child that you got currently, that is going to be with not Slakia, or with Ishmael. That's what I meant to say, with Ishmael, right? That it's going to be with Isaac, right? And it's going to be with for everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him, meaning his descendants after him. So why didn't he say, oh, that it's going to be all these other heathen nations that they're going to be drafted in and all this and that? Like, why didn't the Most High God say this to Abraham then? Right? Because people don't want to try to admit that maybe their philosophy, maybe what they were told, could actually be wrong. So they just run with what they've been told because it has to be right. And most of what they've been told was brought to you and sponsored by the so-called white man, right? Their enemy. So they run with it. But the Lord said that and thou shall call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear you, so bear unto thee at this set time in the next year, right? So the Lord said that my covenant is going to be with Isaac. That's what God said. The God said this to Abraham, right? So, again, I don't understand, like, how do you just overskip what God said, and what Paul is saying supersedes what God said, or what you perceive that Paul is saying, because Paul's not actually even saying that. And we're going to prove that. Let me go back. What was that? What verse was that? Like 15. Right. So we see that in verse 15, right? Paul was letting us know that the covenant, though it be but a man's covenant, he was letting us know, though it be a man's covenant, right? No man, right? And Paul is a man. No man, right, can null and void or add to that covenant. So who gave Paul the authority to add other nations to that covenant, right? That's just what we don't understand. In fact, let's read this. Read this again. This is the book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 14. The blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahawaah HaMashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. That what promises? Let's get it. Let's get Paul's own writings, right? Romans 9:3, right? Yeah, that's it. It's the book of Romans chapter 9 and verse 3. For I could wish that myself was accursed from Hamashiach, from my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. So what he's talking about pertaineth to his own people, right? Of the flesh. Hold up, let's see who Paul was. The book of Romans chapter 11 and verse 1. I say then, have the Most High God cast away his people? Most High forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Who did Benjamin descend from? Right? He descended from Jacob. Who did Jacob descend from? He descended from Isaac. And Isaac had 2 sons, right? Twin boys. One Esau and one Jacob, right? So obviously the blessing went through Jacob. So Paul is what? An Israelite. Now let's go back. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, from my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Right. And if you don't know who it was, right, I didn't even need to go to that verse, right, 11, because Paul lets you know who he is and who his brothers is with the next verse. Verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants, the old and new, even if you want to say that we're currently in the new, right, which we're not, because, yeah, I mean, you still have to fight to not sin. You see that? So that proves that we're not in the new covenant. But even if you want to say that we are, right, the covenants, the old one and the new one, and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High God and the promises. Let's go back to Galatians. Book Galatians chapter 3, verse 14. The blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Hamashiach, that we might receive the promises of the spirit of faith. Let's just get Gentiles real quick. Because what does Gentile even mean? Gentile just means a nation, right? And Israel is a nation. So let's see if Paul ever called Israelites Gentiles. Let's see that real quick. This is a book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, we know who his brothers is. Come on now. I would not have you to be ignorant. Don't be a dumbass, right? Verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. How can you used to be an Asian man? How can you used to be a white man? How can you used to be a so-called black man? That shit, it doesn't make sense, man. Yeah, I mean, you can't try to fit the white man's doctrine into this Bible, because with true understanding, it will never work, right? Right? Ye know that ye were Gentiles, right? You were these acting like these other nations, right? In your mind. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the acts you started to do, I mean, because you were physically doing the things that these other nations did, right? That made you Gentiles, right? That ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led, right? Led by who? The nations, right? So you can't used to be a Gentile. Let's stay in Corinthians. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant. Don't be stupid, right? How that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud, in the cloud and in the sea, right? And all did eat of that same spiritual meat, right? So this is all pertaining to Israelites, right? So he's calling Israelites Gentiles, right? So you want to say that the Corinthians were that they were Gentiles. That's what you want to say, that they heathens, right? They were Gentiles in the state of mind, but you want to try to say that they're nations outside of being an Israelite. That's contrary to what Paul is saying, right? Let's go back. All right, so we addressed that 3:15. All right, yeah, let's do this. Let's look at this one. This is the book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 18. For if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of promise, but the Most High God the Most High God gave it to Abraham. Salaki, let me read it again. The book of Galatians chapter 3 verse 18. For if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of promise, but of the Most High God gave it to Abraham by promise. Right? So, yeah, I mean, that's, what is that going into? That what? I mean, if the law be an inheritance, who's the law given to? Let's get it. Book of Psalms chapter 147 and verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. He didn't do this with the other nations. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So they don't even know the penalty of breaking God's commandments, God's laws. Right? Right, and that's who he gave it to, and we know who the promises is. We already read that, right? What else? Let me see. Let me just jump down to read. Make this too crazy long, because really you can go through this whole chapter, because this is a lot of times where Christians go to a lot. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I did a video on this. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I did. So, all praises. This is the book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch the law in this video. We're just gonna touch as far as even though I just did touch the law, we'll do touching 18, but I just mainly want to touch what the brother was asking yesterday as far as heathens. Yeah, I mean, the book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 26. For ye are all the children of God by faith in Hamashiach. So now let's look at that. Right, you are all the children of God. Who's called the children of God? Let's go here. This one I like to go to, especially at camp. And this is how you keep precepts, not to say locked in your head, because the Lord gonna give you understanding, but through doing videos, through doing sit downs, I mean, you're repeating these scriptures over and over and over again. This is how, I mean, it kind of stays on your head, like, I mean, it stays in your mind. But in anyway, the book of Exodus chapter 4 and verse 22. And thou, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith Yahawah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Right? So Israel is the son of the Most High God, right? We are the children of the Most High God. That's in our name, right? Yasharallah, right? Prince of the power, right? Prince of God. Salaki, you see that? Let me get one of the famous Israelite one-on-one scriptures, right? Psalms 82 and 6. Book of Psalms chapter 82 verse 6. I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the most high. Right? So obviously this is talking about Israelites, right? You know what I mean? So again, that's what it's saying. We are gods. Oh yeah. Yahawaah said that in John. Yeah, he repeated that. What's that? John 10. Hold up. That was no Salaki. It was John 10. This is the book of John chapter 10 and verse 34. Yahawaah answered them, is it not written in your law? I said, ye are gods. Talking about what? The Israelites, man. That's what it's talking about. Right? Let me just scroll up just a little bit more. I believe he was talking to the Pharisees and the scribes. Did I miss it? Oh yeah, right over here. Oh, this good enough. And there was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings. What sayings? What Yahushua just said. You see that in verse 18, right? So there's a division amongst the Jews because of what Yahushua just said. So, yeah, I mean, that's who he's speaking to. He's speaking to the Jews, right? Kind of, my sheep hear my voice is also talking about the Jews, but clearly we see that there you go. Right, let me get back. Verse 19. And there was a division, therefore, again among the Jews for these sayings. So Christ is teaching and talking and amongst the Jews. We also see that in the scriptures too, that he often taught in the synagogues and where the Jews reside. So when he's saying that it's written in your law, ye are gods, he's not talking about the heathens, right? He's talking about Jews, right? And matter of fact, here go right here, verse 31. Then the Jews took up stones again to stone him, right? Talking about Yahushua because what he was saying. See that? So yeah, I mean that's who he's addressing. He's addressing the Jews, right? Not the other nations. All right, so let's go back. Galatians 3. Where was I at? 20 something, probably 26. Verse 26, for ye are all the children of the Most High God, by faith in Hamashiach Yahushua. So we see who the children of God is, right? It's Israelites, plain and simple, right? Plain and simple. It's not hard. Matter of fact, let's get this to yeah, John 1. John 1. Oh yeah, no, Salaki. Let me read that again. Salaki. The book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 26. For ye are all the children of God by faith in Hamashiach. So ye are all the children of God by faith in Hamashiach. Let me get this. Yep. Dagger. The book of John chapter 1 and verse 10. He was in the world. Oh, Salaki. Let me get this too. He was in the world, and the world was made by him. Who? Yahushua, right? Yahushua and the angelic beings, right? The angels. Right. Through the authority of Yahawah, right? And the world knew him not. What world? The world of Israel, right? Because he taught nowhere else but synagogues and where the Jews reside, right? And the world knew him not. Verse 11. This obviously is not talking about all Jews, right? I could do a video on that. The Most High God will. You know what I mean, it's not talking about all Jews, right? Verse 11. Obviously, because he had disciples following him, right? Just for a small point. Salakia. Verse 11. He came unto his own, and his own received him not, right? So who? Israelites. Yeah, and I need this next verse. Verse 12. But as many as receive him, Yahushua, to them, Salaki, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even them that believe on his name. Why? Because just having the law alone, just doing the law alone will not save you, right? You have to have works, right? But the works have to be complemented by faith, right? Having the faith in Hamashiach, right? So that's what really makes you a true child of God, right? Not just knowing that you're Israel, not just putting Yasharallah in your bio, right? Behind your name, right? Right? Not just putting fringes on and still being wicked as hell, right? You know what I mean? You have to keep the laws, but the laws have to be complemented by having the faith of Hamashiach, right? Which we see that Christ is talking only to Israelites, right? You know what I mean? This is why when Pontius Pilate said, I'm gonna wash my hands and wash my hands from this man's blood, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Saying that this man was innocent, if I'm wording it correctly. How was it in? I think it was in Luke. But I ain't even gonna get that when you're saying I wash my hands, I mean, what did the Jews say? Let his blood be upon us. The heathens weren't saying let his blood be upon them, right? So even in wickedness, we were even saying that. So his blood was only shed for us, right? Period. Point blank, period. But let's go back to Galatians. Hold up. Let's see if I got everything off this. The book of John, chapter 1 and verse 13, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. You see the same verses you was going in, but you didn't read the next verse because that's just saying that it could be heathens. See, it's not born of blood, right, or flesh, because you try to lean to nationality, right? But see that what that's going into is that it was already predetermined. Let me get this. That's what that's going into. Because why would it be all these scriptures saying that Israelites being saved? Israelites. You know what I mean? But then it's saying not by blood, right? Not by flesh. Why is it saying that? Because it was already predetermined before, right? It came out the mother's womb. Matter of fact, I get that too in Genesis. Oh no, it's a lock here. Hold up. The book of Isaiah, chapter 46 and verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Lord said, when it's all said and done, what he said, how it's going to go down, that's how it's going to go down. No man can supersede what the Heavenly Father said, the way it's going to go down. You can't change it. Right? If the Lord wants somebody to die, he wants them to die. If the Lord want a brother or sister to be spared, then they're going to get spared. They can't even make themselves die. You know what I mean? Like the Lord is going to spare them if he want to. You know what I mean? Because he may have a purpose for them later on. Now let's get that one. What's that? 20 and 21. Yeah, the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord of hold up, let me just go 22. And the children, right, talking about Jacob and Esau, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Right? If this is a blessed thing, me being pregnant, then why am I feeling all this turmoil? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Right? So it was already foresaid. It was already predestined. Right? One more showing that it was predestined. Right? That it's not talking about flesh and blood. What is that? Romans, what is it? Probably Probably 10. Yeah, the book of Romans chapter 9 verse 10. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for the children not being for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. So both kids ain't do good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, because God will was going to stand, right? God said he created this person for righteousness and this person for wickedness. So this is why it's talking about. It's not about flesh and blood, right? These white people, so-called white people, they are carnal. They try to discriminate and hate people based upon, right, the tone of their skin, right? We see this throughout history. I mean, that this is what they do, right? But we don't do that, right? But we get called a hate group, racist, and which we are, because racist just means to be for your own, right? You believe your own is the superior, right, race, and we're going based upon the Bible, and science says that, right? And just logic says that, right? When you look at any sports or any entertainment, any music, right? Our people stand out better than all the races, right? But for the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth, right? So it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what you do. Esau can try to donate trillions of dollars to blacks and Hispanics. It don't matter, right? The Lord don't want him. He's a reject, right? All these nations, right? They are only made to be servants to the Israelites, right? So it doesn't have nothing to do about blood. It don't have nothing to do about who's darker than who, right? It has nothing to do about none of that, right? It all boils down to God election, right? One more. Where is that one at? The vessels. That's it. The book of Romans chapter 9 verse 22. What if the Most High wants to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, right? So he got people that's fitted. He made them. He created them to destroy them. Talking about that anybody can be saved. How can anybody be saved if the Lord created people purposely to destroy them in the Pacific time period, right? Verse 23, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy. Who's the vessels of mercy? We already went to it. It's the Israelites. See that in Isaiah 14:1, right? The Lord will have mercy on Jacob, right? Which he had afore prepared unto glory. He already prepared it, right? Just how you can have a pre-prepared dish, and you can make a sandwich, but you're not going to eat it now, but you just want it pre-set up for when you do eat it, when you're comfortable sitting down watching TV, bag of chips, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got the sandwich already made, but then you put it in the refrigerator, right? You had it prepared, right? You had it pre-made. It was you're predestined to eat at a later dispensation of time, right? That's how that's going down. Yeah, matter of fact, the one more. When YAHAWAH said that, yeah, hold up. Yup. This is the book of John, chapter 15, verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that ye should go and bring forth fruit. But that's all I need. Ye have not chosen me. This is what YAHAWAH told the disciples, right? Even though you can go in the Bible and see that YAHAWAH, or who the world called Jesus, was going around and telling people, yo, follow me. Told Peter, you know what I mean, follow me, and I'm gonna make you fisher of men, right? Because he was a fisherman. You ain't gonna fish no more. I'm gonna make you a fisher of men. But he told Peter to follow him as if Peter had an option. But watch this. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. Right? It was already predestined. It really wasn't Peter's decision. He was already predestined to do it. Right? um yeah, let's go back. Galatians. Where are we at? Yeah, Salakia. I ain't trying to too long. So let me just kind of get to these main points. Let me get to the main point where this video was made on. But that was, just showing a better way or easier way to cut Galatians 3:28, right? But I cut him yesterday in it because I just went particularly to the verse. But this obviously is a sit down, and this is why brothers have to do sit downs, right? Sit downs again. You understand scriptures more. When you do sit downs, you can understand a breakdown more. You make what they say, practice makes what? Perfect, right? Because a lot of times people see people doing things and they perceive that they can do it too, and the Lord may not give you, that may not be the strength that the Lord gave you, right? So, we have to go back to the basics. That's what we have to do as a people. The book of Galatians chapter 3 and verse 28. There's neither Jew Jew nor Greek. So, I had the priest, he was reading for me, right? So I had him read this and read this slow. There's neither Jew, right? So that's a race, right? He was like, yeah, right? Nor Greek, right? You would consider the Greeks as being a race, right? Yeah. So why the Asian people not included? Now he looking befuddled. Now he looking befuddled. Why the Asian people not included? Right? Right? Why the Hamite people not included? You see that? Why the Japhite people not included? You see that? But again, it all goes back to us, us, especially us as a people. We take the white man's doctrine and we run with it. We don't try to even add no type of sense to it or try to truly understand it. Because if, for one, we have to rethink. This is why YAHAWAH said that we got to be born again. Why? Because we have to reevaluate everything that we learn. We basically have to erase it and restart again. But a lot of niggas, y'all don't want to do that, right? You want to be stuck in the mud. So that's what it is. It is what it is. But Galatians chapter 3 and verse 28, there is neither Jew nor Greek. Yeah, right. There's neither bond nor free. There's neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Hamashiach Yahushua. And like how I was telling the brother, that's like the one brother who was reading for me, that's just like his mom and dad knowing that they're Israelite. So what are they going to do? They're going to raise their child, right, with the knowledge that they're an Israelite, right? And then the other brother that was reading for me, I'm using him as an example, and I said that's just as if this brother, mom and dad, perceive that they're a Greek, right? Even though that they're Israelite, but they were raised with the understanding, believing that they're a Greek, right? The same thing that you can use as an American, right? What are they going to teach that child that he is? A Greek, an American. This is what they're going to do, right? So it was another scripture the brother brought out that they can no longer call themselves Jews. It's an apocrypha. It escaped me right now, but that's really beside the point, because we already went further up, showing that it's all Israel. That's all it's talking about. It's Israel. So why in the later points would it talk about them, right? Or talk about heathens? Salaki. Um, there's neither bond nor free, there's neither male nor female, for you're all one in Hamashiach. We cannot one up each other and say, oh well, I got more information than you. Oh, you see, I was raised knowing who I was, because that's what brothers is doing now. Like, brothers know that they Israelites and they got kids and they're raising their kids that they're Israelites. Yeah, I mean, like, their kids can't go and then be to another black or Hispanic man and say, oh, you see, I know who I am. Like, you don't know who you are, right? So, yeah, I mean, like, you see that I'm better than you, right? You're boasting against each other, which we're actually not supposed to do. We're not supposed to boast against each other. Matter of fact, yeah, yeah. Let me get this. I think it's in Ephesians. Yeah, Ephesians 2. Yeah, yep. All praises. This book of Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 8. For by grace are ye saved through faith. Faith in what? And faith in Mashiach. So the laws and faith work hand in hand. And that not of yourselves, right? Not because you were raised knowing who you were. Yeah, I mean, not not because you darker than somebody. Yeah, I mean, not because, I mean, you got on fringes. Yeah, I mean, it is a gift of the Most High God, not of works, lest any man should boast. Right? We're not supposed to boast. We're not supposed to be boasting of each other. We're not well, when I mean, like, we're not supposed to boast over each other. Yeah, I mean that's something that we not supposed to do, right? Because why? Yeah, I mean those who don't know that they Israelites, they still gonna be they still got a chance, right, to come back in, to come back to the fold, right? We see that in the drafting in. It's talking about the northern southern kingdom, right? But a lot of these Grecians, they were Hellenized and they were actually southern kingdom. You see that? So, yeah, I mean, that's really what it's going into, right? Neither bond nor free. It doesn't matter if you're a free Israelite or a locked up Israelite. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female Israelite, right? Because we're all the children of the light once we come to the Heavenly Father in truth and sincerity and following Hamashiach, right? Verse 29. And if ye be Hamashiachs, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Why? Because it worked hand in hand. The commandments and having the faith in Hamashiach, right? Because just because you were born of Abraham's seed, you could still be a 2/3, right? So you have to have both the works and the faith of Hamashiach to truly be heirs, right, of that first fruit, right? Because you'll get in the kingdom, but you'll get in the kingdom through the loins of the elect, right? The elect of Israel. Then let's go here too, because this really just continues on, right? Um, because back then it was just scrolls, so it wasn't, a chapter 4 or chapter 3, so it was just continuing on. So let's continue on. Let's start. Let's start. Let's start here. It's the book of Galatians chapter 4 and verse 3. Even so, we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world, right? We were slave to sin, right? But, now, now we're coming back to these laws. Now we're coming back to having the faith in Hamashiach, right? We're not bound to these to the darkness of this world, meaning the ways of this world, right? We don't feel that we have to get rich or die trying, right? And a lot of our people die trying to get rich. Verse 4. But then the fullness of the time was come. The Most High sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. Verse 5. This is the main point I wanted. to redeem them that were under the law, that we may receive the adoptions of sons. And we already know what the adoption was. We already previously read it, right? You can rewind it. That's in Romans, right? So there's no way around it, right? Yeah, I mean, and again, what Christians accuse Israelites for doing is you're reading out of context. You're just taking one verse and and you're making a doctrine off of the one verse, right? So that's why I wanted to read up to get the concepts of what he's talking about, right? Is that it? Matter of fact, let me just put the nail in the coffin real quick. Yeah, I mean, before I end this video off, definitely don't be trying to have it be too long, but let me just nail in the coffin this real quick. Yeah, I got this, Joe. I got this one written down through spirit. This is the book of John, chapter 13 and verse 16. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he is sent greater than he that sent him. Now let's analyze that, right? Who's speaking? This is red letters. So this YAHAWAH, who the world calls Jesus Christ. So the servant is not greater than his Lord. Who's the servant, right? The apostles, the disciples, right? They're the servants of Hamashiach. Who's the Lord? YAHAWAH, right? Neither is he that sent. Who was sent? The disciples was sent, right? The apostles was sent. Neither is he that is sent greater than he that sent him, right? So whoever is sent ain't greater than the person that sent them, right? So let's go here. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 1. Paul, a servant of Yahawashi HaMashiach, called to be an apostle, right? Spared unto the gospel, separated unto the gospel of the Most High, right? So Paul, a servant of Yahawashi HaMashiach, right, called to be an apostle, right? So he's a servant, and we just seen that Yahawashi said that the servant is not greater than his Lord, right? So why do people jump to Paul's words to make their point? Why are you not going to Christ's words? Oh, because of this. I got you. Hold up. I got you. Don't even worry about it. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. But he said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's why y'all run to anybody else's words except Hamashiach, except Yahawashi, right? Except who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. This is why you'll go to any and everybody's words except for his. But you don't want to go to his words, though. Yeah, I mean, it's just bad, right? It's real bad for y'all Christians, man. It's real bad for y'all. That's why bro just walked away. He walked away before, right before the situation was really completely finished. He just walked away. But yeah, you see that. So and any way you want to look at it, that the apostles would come after Christ and teach a doctrine that he didn't teach. That would be heresy. You see that? A doctrine that he did not teach. He didn't tell them to teach it. He didn't teach it himself. Right? That's heresy. Right? Then Salakia. Then people would try to say, oh, well, the Lord was giving them revelation later on and wasn't giving it, to Yahawashi. He was giving it to them later on. But it said what? That Yahawashi was given a cup. His cup was given to him was without measure. Now, what does that mean? That all other people, apostles, disciples, they all was given a cup with a level of measure, some more than others, some less than others. But nevertheless, it had a measure on it. So whatever you think that that they knew some type of deep, dark secrets later on, Yahawashi would have had already known about it. And for him not to teach it, and for his apostles and disciples to teach it, and him not to teach it by default, you really trying to call him a coward, because his underlings had to teach a doctrine that he was scared to teach. You know what I mean? So it's no way around it, right? Y'all Christians are finished. You know what I mean? Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, turn to the Lord in fear and sincerity. Leave all this Christianity alone, right? And turn to the Lord. These are the last days, right? So all praises to the Heavenly Father, for wisdom and understanding come from him and him alone. And in these last days, him and him alone need to be exalted in this earth, right? Hopefully, brothers and sisters was edified. Till next time, I say shalom.